There's one board, it's going sideways, and the bikes are off. Well, friends and fans, it's been brought to my attention. My confusion there on that start was another bike was ahead of the grid. We actually do have one lightweight participant. That's the 295 of Matt Meinert. So it's good to see someone step up and enter that field, and that's going to guarantee him a sure spot, run 3 laps safely, and that's going to get you a podium finish. So how about that? But let's call the rest of this race as we see it here on this first lap. Leading the field is the number 9 KTM of Adam Rolfes. He had such an exciting race yesterday, battling back and forth with the 23 of Cameron Jones, and it looks like we're in for a Groundhog Day. Leading him into the first lap around is Adam Rolfes, coming out of turn 7 up the backstretch to the short chute, the goat trail. And about a 10-12 bike gap behind him is the 23 of Cameron Jones, and there Mike Weirick has been able to position himself from the dead last start spot to 3rd going into the chicane on this here first lap. So leading him to the stripe to put 1 lap in the books is the number 9 Adam Rolfes, Cameron Jones, Mike Weirick, just like that. And then there's the 295 of Matt Meinert, and he will, like I said, run 3 smooth laps and he'll have a guaranteed podium spot. Bringing up in 4th place is the Yamaha R3 of Chris Magruder. There goes Scott Douglas, and there is Michael Wallace rounding out the field. So let's check back with our leaders. Adam Rolfes is on a rail. He must have some new tires or something, man. He is running a great pace and coming out of 6B. He's still got about a 10 to 12 bike lead over the 23 of Cameron Jones as Adam enters and exits 7. Cameron's in the exit of 7 now. So yes, Adam Rolfes looks to set a blazing pace for this 25-minute timed race. So there he is, bringing it through the goat trail into the chicane, threads it nicely, rides it high all the way to the wall, and Cameron exits the chicane as well. So here's the gap, crossing the line right now. Adam Rolfes, Cameron Jones, Mike Weirick. So it looks like Adam is on a tear out there. So you got the KTM of Adam Rolfes, the Kawasaki of Cameron Jones. Both fellows are sponsored by Jones Honda. You've got Mike Weirick in 3rd on his Yamaha. He's sponsored by another series sponsor, Mike Taylor of Taylor Motorsports. So it's great to see the racers supporting each other, both with assistance as well as sponsorship money. That's great. So adding to the racer family here. So let's get a check back on our leaders. He's entering turn 7. Got a little squirrely coming out of 6 this here lap. In and out of turn 7, up the short chute, followed by about, boy, that gap is opening. About almost the whole backstretch. Adam Rolfes is entering the goat trail as Cameron was coming out of 7. So let's keep our eye on that distance. That's kind of how it was a little bit yesterday. We saw that Cameron was able to stay in it and plug away, and seemed to made some ground on the end of the straight towards the latter half of that race, and then once he got by, he was able to check out. But it looks like Adam is looking to not allow that here today. Hearing reports that Adam's running 1:14. That's moving on those little ultralight bikes. That's very respectable. So here we are in and out of the 3-4 exchange. Still your leader, number 9, followed by the 2-3. And there's Michael Weirick entering 3-4. So it looks like today's race is not as back and forth exciting as yesterday's was, but we're only 3 or 4 laps in it, so we got a ways to go. I'm really looking to see that 23 close that gap. Right now, last lap around, it was almost the whole short stretch, and it looks like Cameron may have made up some ground that lap, as the gap does not look to be as big. Yes, actually, as I checked the timing and scoring lap times, Adam ran a 1:14.6 and Cameron ran a 1:14.9, so their lap times are actually very closely linked that last lap around. As Adam puts another lap in the books, we've got 5, and Mike Wierick safely and securely in 3rd place. Coming out of the chicane and down the front stretch right now is the 295, our solo lightweight participant, Matt Minor. Nice to see a little 2-stroke with the Motard tires out there running around. Coming out of the chicane and looking like he's running an S course. Down the straight is Chris Magruder. Not sure if he's having a mechanical. He came down the straight pretty slow. Or maybe he's just out there biding some time, realizing that 3rd place is so far off, he might as well just take it easy. So he's in 4th securely, and then there's Scott Douglas on that beautiful orange Kawasaki, crossing the line in 5th. And it looks like Adam is about to put one participant a lap down as the number 9 comes out of the chicane, up the wall, down the straight, and yes indeed, this lap around, there he goes to the outside before tipping it into 1. He puts the 607 a lap down. Let's see if Cameron Jones can get by as cleanly, because again, that gap is not shrinking, it's not getting bigger. So if Cameron can sit tight this close to the beginning of the race, he stands a good chance to close that gap towards the end. And yes indeed, he was safely able to get through past the lapper there at the short chute between 2 and 3, so there he is, in out of the 3-4 exchange into the 5-6 long right-hander. Entering 6B right now is Adam Rolfes, and entering 6B right now is Cameron Jones. So yes, it looks like the gap is shrinking, so if Cameron can continue this pace, he stands to make good ground as they come upon another lapper. That's the 113 of Scott Douglas. Will that hold up Adam? No, he was able to get by cleanly outside of 7. Can Cameron do the same in the goat trail as they both enter the goat trail right now? Let's see how this shapes out coming through the chicane. Entering and exiting the chicane right now is Adam Rolfes, riding the bank high up to the wall, and yes indeed, Cameron Jones got by very clean as he has exited, and yes, that gap seems to be shrinking. Adam Rolfes, Cameron Jones coming across the line. So yes, he has in fact closed that gap a little bit. Let's get a look at, I'll get you some timing and scoring updates here as soon as it comes back up, as Michael Wierick brings it across the stripe safely and securely in 3rd place. Another lap in the books, and it's the same scoop as they enter the 5-6 long right-hander, Adam Rolfes, on rails. I don't know if he's got rain tires on or not. I know some of them had rains on earlier, but the track has dried out. There's a few sprinkles in the air here and there. So entering the GO trail is Adam. Entering the GO trail is Cameron Jones. Can this gap shrink a little bit? And it looks like Adam has actually opened the gap a little bit. And sure enough, let's call it, as they cross the stripe, Adam Rolfes, Cameron Jones. Yes, indeed. Adam, not sure if Adam opened it up a little bit or if Cameron came to a slip up, but that gap that was shrinking has opened up a little bit. So let's keep our eyes on that. Let's once again give thanks to our sponsors who are helping to put this series on. This series for the 2017 MCRA Challenge Series is being brought to you by Kyle Given with Country Financial. It's also being brought to us by Jones Honda, as well as those 2 front runners out there. They're both sponsored, so let's give good thanks to Jones Honda. Give him a look up. Maybe give him a call when you're out in his area, or look him up online. Thanks to Jones Honda, as well as Jared Harrison with Harrison Mechanical, and Mike Taylor, sponsor of the series, as well as the 3rd place runner, Michael Wierick. So once again, a thanks to our sponsors and our participants for the excitement for the 2017 MCRA Challenge Series.
Control, start we are at the midpoint of this race.
It's just been called that we are halfway through this race, and as the halfway flag, here's the gap. Adam Rolfes, Cameron Jones. So let's see if we've got some times up for us. And the times are actually about the same as the last call through, running low 1:14, 14:2, and a 14:4 respectively. And Cameron is about just a half a tick off of there. Actually, lap after lap, they kind of go back and forth as to one having a high 14 and a low 14. So we're just now at the halfway flags. We're going to see if Cameron's going to get the spikes out and put the tires even more dug into the track and shrinking that gap and give us some more excitement like the two of them did yesterday. And in fact, it looks like he has. I think that's what he was waiting for, was the halfway flags. I remember when I used to race, that's what I'd do. I'd kind of just run at a halfway decent pace that first half and then really dig in for the second half. And sometimes that comes to bite you if a red flag comes in and you're too far off the pace. But this gap has shrunk this lap around. As Adam enters the chicane, Cameron has drastically closed that gap. He's only about 8 bike lengths back now. So here comes Adam, looking back, and he's like, oh man, uh-oh, may have a mechanic. Oh, he sure did, Adam. Oh man, as Adam is coming down and crossing the stripe, he has no gear shifter. So that is probably why Cameron was able to drastically close that gap. Sure enough, we have ourselves a new leader. Certainly not the way either one of those fellows would have intended for it to be. I know Adam Rolfes, and I am guessing he's going to leave that thing in whatever gear it's in and see if he can hold on to the second place. He's got quite a gap over third place. Let's see how this shakes out. So yes, indeed, going through the 6A, we've got your leader, 23, Cameron Jones, followed by the number 9 of Adam Rolfes. Entering turn 5 is Michael Wyrick. Can Michael Wyrick reel in the number 9 of Adam Rolfes? 2-3, in and out of 7. Adam Rolfes still running a decent pace with no gear shifter. Let's watch them as they come out of the goat trail. 2-3, through the chicane, up the hill to the wall. He looks back in disbelief. I can't believe it, but Adam Rolfes is not giving up. Adam Rolfes is retaining about a 10 bike travel, so this is going to shape up to be a pretty neat second half of the race as Mike Wyrick brings the 58 Yamaha across the line. So, through the 3-4 exchange, Adam Rolfes still quite upset. You can see him shaking his helmet in disbelief, but 23 leads him through.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, thank you.
The 295 has made an odd move and has rejoined the circuit. Let's see.
Number 9 out there at your station, go ahead.
Let's see what the purpose is that is going to be for. Oh, I think, yes, that's the lightweight. He is merely just trying to get laps. He exited the track at the wrong location, so he rejoined the track, and he's currently closing through turn 7 and out there riding right next with Michael Wyrick. Michael Wyrick on the inside, passes the 295. And there's the 13 and the 113 of Scott Douglas and Chris Magruder. They've closed their gap, so they're going to have a little race going on between them. Cameron Jones crosses the line. Adam Rolfes crosses the line. So Adam has not given up. Can't even shift the bike. It's in one solid gear the entire way around the track, and he's only about 8 bike lengths behind Cameron Jones. As Michael Wyrick is not far back now from the 9 of Adam Rolfes. So this may come down to a real exciting finish here. Man, you got to tip your hat to that number 9 KTM rider, Adam Rolfes, too.
295 will not be interchangeable.
You know why he got me?
Oh, he probably thought, maybe he didn't see me ball, he thought it was a black flag.
No, he even went over there and said I got me.
Yeah, well, he thinks he's doing FIM flags. Oh, is that FIM?
That's what I guess, yeah, because FIM
And
back.
Scully should be following 7 as well.
Meatball
But
is.
why did we get meatball?
I don't know, I didn't hear that.
A little bit of confusion here in the timing and scoring area regarding a meatball on the 295 that is on hot pit lane now. So let's get back to the racing action. Coming out of the chicane is the 23. It looks like he's... No, that's not the 23. There's the 23. So the 13 of Chris Magruder. The 23 puts him another lap down as Cameron Jones has quite the gap over the rest of the field. I don't see the number 9 KTM anymore. Oh, there he is, number 9. Adam Rolfes came into the pits and he has lost his... Oh man, he's stuck in one gear. It's probably third or something like that. Having a hard time getting it going again, but rats, that brings him back to third place. I'd like to have seen him stay out there the way he was going. He would have had, I think he would have gave him a run for second place, but well, now that relinquishes him back to the third place position as our leader Cameron Jones enters turn 7 nice and smooth, comes out of the infield onto that smooth asphalt up towards the high side of the banking on the backstretch, down the hill into the goat trail, all alone. He had fun times going on as now your second place competitor Michael Weirick is entering the goat trail. Cameron Jones is exiting the chicane, so let's see how this will work out. Will Cameron Jones think he's got it wide open and secure and relax a little bit? I don't think so. He's slipstreaming it, going down this front stretch like a flat tracker with his hand behind his back. I think he might know that Michael Weirick is closing the gap now. Michael Weirick entering turn 1 as Cameron's exiting turn 2. Mike Weirick has found a second win in the second half of the race. Let's continue to watch this and see if that gap can shrink. So Cameron bringing it through the 3-4 exchange. The number 58 is now entering the 3-4 exchange. So either Mike Weirick has turned up the wicks or Cameron Jones sat back a little bit.
Control 7, no flag.
Yes.
Go ahead, Zeb.
Could you withdraw first and second place?
So yes, indeed, your top 3 are all still on the lead lap.
23's in first place.
Director, if you could
58
come back
is
up
in
the top.
second
Thank you.
place. 23's
Control 1 points, first place number 23, second place.
So your leader, 23, Cameron Jones, is now entering the goat trail, and now so is the 58 of Michael Weirick. So yes, indeed, this lap around, that gap has shrunk because the last time around, Cameron was entering the chicane as Weirick was entering the goat trail. That had, well, yes, indeed, that gap has closed a little bit. So let's get a look at the timing. We've got 15 laps underway. We've got about 18 minutes in this race, so we've probably got a good 5 or 6 minutes of racing. Cameron Jones, no, there's Adam Rolfes bringing it across the stripe in a solid, safe third place position as Cameron Jones is entering turn 6, exiting turn 6. Michael Weirick is on pace, closing the gap. Can he do it in these next 6 minutes? Can he really dig in and shrink that gap even more and make for an exciting last few lap calls? Let's keep our eyes on that as Cameron Jones goes down the hill, enters the goat trail. Now Michael Weirick is as well. So yes, indeed, Michael Weirick is little by little closing that gap. Cameron brings it safely through the chicane, rides it high to the wall, front stretch. Now he's got some support on pit lane that says, nope, dig in, because the gap's closing. The gap on the straightaway has increased. So the gains that Michael Weirick on the 58 Yamaha R3 had made had shrunk that last lap around. Let's watch it through the rest of the infield as Michael Weirick looked like he was trying to giddy up the bike a little faster down the straightaway. I know he's not giving up as Cameron Jones has threaded the 3-4 exchange. Now Michael Weirick does. Jones entering 6B, Weirick entering 6A. Let's see, can he close the gap even further? Jones entering 7. Wyrick entering 7. So no, it looks like that gap is not massively changed, but I am just so amazed by Adam Rolfes, still solidly in 3rd place. He's not giving up, and that bike is operating on only 1 gear. So that's very impressive. Let's get a check on our leader 23 coming across the stripe. And yes, he has stretched that gap on the straight, because there now is your 58 Yamaha R3 of Michael Wyrick. So Cameron may have realized, oh, don't rest on my laurels too much here. Got 25 minutes of solid racing we got to do.
So it's only 4 seconds off from his best lap.
Hearing the chit-chat from the timing and scoring officials, Adam Rolfes, even stuck in 1 gear, is running still a minute 18 around this track. That is so impressive with only 1 gear.
If he thought he could fix it,
That is so impressive.
It was like this far off.
So back with our leaders, Cameron Jones safely leaving the infield, going back to the backstretch, and down the goat trail he goes as Wyrick is exiting 7 and going down the backstretch, down the hill to the goat trail. Yeah, that gap is not massively grown nor shrunk this lap around. Cameron Jones brings it through the chicane, and he's going to receive the white flag this time around. He looks over his shoulder, gives a little pump fist and a thumbs up. So the white flag lap is out, and the 23 crosses the line. The 58 brings it through. So entering 1 and 2 are those two. And Adam Rolfes, where he at? He's coming out of the infield and into the goat trail now, as Cameron Jones follow him around the rest of the way. He is safely through the 3-4, and quite a good gap between him and Michael Wyrick as he's exiting 4 now. Cameron is already in the far long right-handing decreasing radius of turn 6A and B, keeping it firmly on the pavement. He exits 6B through the short chute to turn 7, but we have 2 lappers in the mix. Will this present a problem as they go through the goat trail and the chicane on this white flag lap? Cameron Jones safely through turn 7. Michael Wyrick safely through turn 7. Both of them going down the back stretch. Cameron enters the goat trail. Michael Wyrick appears to be closing the gap a little bit. Now here we are, yes indeed. Coming to the chicane, no, everyone's going to get through there with no problems. Cameron Jones gives a check over his shoulder, and yes indeed, your winner, back-to-back wins, the 23, Cameron Jones, takes the checkered flag, thumbs up. Michael Wyrick closed the gap considerably as he brings in your 2nd place, Michael Wyrick on his Yamaha R3, sponsored by Michael Taylor Motorsports, your winner, sponsored by Jones Honda, as well as let's get a look for Adam Rolfes. Where is he at in the field? Safely, if he continues around this lap, safely will be our 3rd place competitor. Here he is, coming through the goat trail, through the chicane, is the number 9 KTM of Adam Rolfes, who ran a fine fashion despite being stuck in 1 gear. Crosses the line, standing on the pegs, hands in the air. Way to go. What a fine competitor. Never give up. Never give up in a long race like this. You never know what could happen. And I really wonder what would have happened if he'd have stayed out there and not come down hot pit lane to make that small adjustment to that shift lever. But either way, there's your rundown, the top 3. Let's go on down to Domino's Victory Lane.